Have you ever had an empanada before? Do you even know what one is? It is a little pastry pocket stuffed full of savory delights, a bit like a Cornish pasty. Quite controversial to say that, I'm pretty sure. But I had these when I was in Spain. They're eaten and made differently all over Latin America, all over Argentina, Portugal, Mexico. You name it, everyone has a different way on how to make it. So I'm going to make beef ones today. I'm going to show you how to bake them rather than fry them so that you're going to feel a little bit better about yourself when you're eating 2 or 3 or 4 with a nice glass of something. So let's get making some empanadas. Oh, and I actually thought to myself while coming up with this little recipe as well, that this is basically a really good street food. So I thought, let's do a whole series on street food. So let me know your favorite street food that you like to eat in the comments below, and maybe we will make that on this series. Okay, so for now, let's get making empanadas.
So let's make the dough first. You need 370 grams of all-purpose unbleached white flour, 170 grams of unsalted butter that is chilled and been cubed, and a nice pinch of salt. Get the lid on and blitz this all up until it is nice and kind of mealy in texture. You could do this by hand too. Once that's done, you're going to need 120 mils of warm milk, and you're going to put in an egg yolk. A large one should do. Give that little whiskey business. Put that into your mixture, get the lid back on and pulse it until the dough comes together. It's gonna come together pretty quickly. You'll see 10 seconds or so in this bad boy. Pop that out onto your counter. Then we're gonna knead this gently, give it the old patented dough spank. And then we're just gonna wrap this, label it, and put it in the fridge until later. Chill for a minimum of 30 minutes. Now for the filling, we're going to finally dice an onion. Don't make it too chunky because we want to have a nice dice of onion in the final empanada. Okay, once that's all nicely chopped up, set that aside and we're going to crush in about 3 cloves of garlic or so and about a tablespoon of fresh thyme leaves. Give that a good little chop up and then set that aside with your onion mixture. Now we're going to move on to the spicing for this empanada. So we're going to use this mountain oregano. It's got a lot of twigs in it, so pick through it. Make sure you don't get any of those twigs because that's not that nice to eat. Okay, we're going to set aside about a tablespoon of that. Then we need a tablespoon of this lovely hot paprika and about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. You can put more or less to taste. Then a tablespoon of ground cumin and the same for ground coriander. These are the base spices, and I'm going to add in a teaspoon or so of harissa paste, which I found in the fridge. You can use tomato puree if you don't have that. Now let's move on to our beef. I'm using a 90% lean, 10% organ meat blend, local grass-fed, absolutely delicious. Open that up, set that aside, and we're going to jump on to peeling 2 sweet potatoes and roughly dice them up. You can use regular as well. I'm probably not going to use all 2 of these, but I'll set this aside. I need a cup of stock as well, so I just so happen to have some lamb stock in the freezer, so I'm going to use that. Get a good glug of olive oil into your pan and start sweating down those onions and garlic and thyme for about 10 minutes or so. Do not add any color to them. Then we're going to add in the beef, flatten it down, generously season this with salt and pepper. And then we're just basically going to cook this until it's not pink anymore and it's going to brown a little bit as well. This takes about 5 or 7 minutes or so. Once you've got it to this stage, start adding in all those lovely spices that you measured out before. Bang them all in. Give that a nice little mix around with the harissa paste, and that is going to color the beef up as well. Then at this stage, you're going to add in your sweet potato, mix that through, and then add in your stock. You're going to bring this up to a simmer and cook this for about 10 to 15 minutes until pretty much all that stock has evaporated. Then add a good glug of sherry vinegar for acidity, mix that through, put that onto a little sheet pan to cool down in your fridge so that this will be nice and cold for your filling. Okay, now we're going to make a nice little sauce for the empanada. A massive wodge, that's an actual term that is, of parsley and coriander, a whole lime squeezed in, good pinch of chili seed to taste, about half a teaspoon or so of ground cumin, and you're going to add in about 60 mils of extra virgin olive oil, about 100 mils or so of sunflower oil, and a good glug of maple syrup. Nice little bit of salt and pepper, and then you're going to get the lid on this and you're going to start getting that lovely tamper that you get with a Vitamix and start plunging that down. And then we're just going to blitz it all the way down. Once it's kind of at this stage, add a good splash of red wine vinegar for a bit more acidity. Now turn up the speed a little bit so it's nicely blended and pureed together. You have an amazing sauce for your empanada. Just look at that. Now let's move on to our pastry. Take off your cling film. It should be nice and chilled now. Flour the top, flour the surface, and just roll it out. Don't worry about the little cracks and stuff. It will all equal out in the end. Okay, we're going to get this nice and thin, about 3 to 4 mils or so, kind of like the thickness of a coin. Get yourself a nice little deli container or bowl and just cut round some nice little circles like this. I'm going to see if I can get another one. So I'm just going to roll that out and see if, oh, yep, I can get one more out of that. Plenty nice feeling indeed. Then just take away the rest of your pastry. We're going to scrunch that up and re-roll all those trimmings, so do not worry. And then all you're going to do is put these nice little round discs onto a baking tray with either silpat or parchment paper. Put a bit of parchment paper on top, cover this, set this aside, re-roll out the rest of your dough and repeat the process. So that's why you don't have to worry about it cracking. You can see it's a very forgiving dough. This should give you about 12, 13 of these nice little discs in total. Now to shape your empanadas, grab one of your discs. You can lightly flour the surface if you want, looks good, don't really need to. You want to roll it to about 3 mil thick, just like that. Put in 2 tablespoons of filling, get a bit of egg white and just moisten the top. So you got like a half moon, pinch in the filling and just seal your empanada just like this. Now there's a few ways you can shape them. You can have a half moon empanada like this, not a problem, knock out the air, use your thumb, squeeze it, seal it. Absolutely, perfectly acceptable for an empanada at home. A bit of rustic charm goes a long way. Another way to shape these is to get it to this stage, get yourself a little fork and just seal the edges. Press it down as you go, and that is also another acceptable empanada. Nothing wrong with that, my son. Put that on a tray, repeat the process. If you want to take these up a little level, you can crimp these. Now, I'm not the best at this, so it's been a while. Let's give it a go. Take one of your discs, roll it out slightly, fill it, seal it after it's been moistened, and then what we're going to do, you're going to pinch it so it's nice and tight and sealed. Start with one end, you pull it slightly and you fold it in and pinch it on itself right into the edge of the filling, and then use your thumb and go over and keep pinching from the bottom, pulling the pastry slightly and crimping it over. Repeat the process, and when you get to the end, don't worry about it, you can just fold that in like you did on the first side, and that should give you a lovely crimped empanada. I am a little bit rusty, but that's okay. You know, practice makes perfect. Once again, you just take it, fold it into the filling edge right there, crimp it over, take your thumb, lift that over and keep folding into that same point. The filling gives you a guide as to where to fold and pinch to. Keep going, repeat the process. Practice makes perfect. And you've got these nice little empanadas that are beautifully crimped and sealed. I mean, yeah, that's not bad. I'd give myself a 7 out of 10 for that. Okay, once you've done that, get that all onto your trays, give them an egg wash, just a beaten egg with a little splash of milk. If you want to be fancy, put it in the fridge for 20 minutes and give it a double egg wash. And then we're going to bake these about a 420 Fahrenheit oven for about 20-25 minutes until they're golden brown, crispy on the bottom like this. Let's cut one of these bad boys open. Look at that. That is stuffed and smells absolutely effing amazing. And have a little taste. Oh yeah, empanada, that tastes good. Got to do the empanada dance. Get them on a plate, add in a bit of that lovely sauce, and get ready to smash these in with your mouth hole. Enjoy, my friends. Empanadas. We are starting our street food off right. Let's go.
There we go. We just made empanadas. Not bad at all. Right, let's give one of these a taste. Got one here cut open. Ooh. Cheers. My God. These are absolutely stuffed full of ingredients. There's so much beef in that. You can put whatever you want in there. Really nice. Got a nice little spicing going through, not too spicy. That sauce is killer. Completely herbaceous. Very nice word. So you're going to want to make this with it because it's got a touch of sweetness to it. So kind of balances it all out. Pastry, check. Flaky. Filling, stunning. Sauce, spectacular. Make this. Empanadas. Party food, street food, couple of beers. Let's go. This is what you want. Woo. Right, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It's our first video in the street food series. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite street food is in the comments below. And maybe I might just make that on this series. Right. I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers. Empanada.